me and my brother were younger, we used to have an obsession with stuffed animals. So when we tried to put them into storage, we'd have a pool of soft squishy mounds from how many we had. Hi, my name is Trinity Goodwin, and today I'll be teaching you all how to make a stuffed animal. Now, reasons for making a stuffed animal is, for one, if you have younger relatives, you can make them stuffed animals just to their liking, and you can also make some for yourself. The steps to doing that is threading your machine, picking out the fabric, cutting out the shapes, and then finally putting it all together. Now, to thread your machine, you are going to need all-purpose sewing thread and a bobbin. And putting it together, this is how it's going to go. So, first, you're going to want to put it up here. So, every sewing machine is slightly different. This one has a little area where you can set a compartment. You pull the thread all throughout this little area here. Oop. And it goes down into here. You pull it back up, around and around here, and then you pull it all the way through the needle. Next, you're going to want to put the bobbin. For my sewing machine, there's a little bobbin case right here where you put it. Other sewing machines are all different. Some have a little compartment that you pull out, but mine just has a little easy one right here. And putting this, mine has a threading, for an easy threading tool. Instead of doing it myself, it helps me put it through the hole in the needle. So after you've done that, now you have to pick out your fabric. Now there's different type of fabrics for this. Some people choose softer ones for a stuffed animal, but with the softer ones, it's a little bit more difficult because it's a little bit more stretchy. So today, I'm going to be using this kind of fabric. Now, this will be the shape that you would have to cut out. I choose a little bit larger so that it's easier to see. This will be one of the sides, and this will be on the stomach. Now, the way that I cut out the stomach shape is I put these two together, and I laid them flat, and I outlined it so it makes it easier, so it's up to the perfect place. Now we are going to put it together. So how we're going to do that is, first, you're going to make sure that the right sides are put together. So the sides that are supposed to be shown on the outside, put them together like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sew all the way from here all the way to the front. So then they'll create a little back on what is now going to be our frog. Now while you're sewing this, for beginners, you might want to start a little bit slow, but I'm going to speed this up a little bit. And when you're doing this, make sure that you get as close as possible to the edge of it. So then, whenever you flip it inside out, you'll have the most surface area. After you've done that, you're going to want to pull. So the way that you put the needle down is you twist it this way. You twist it towards yourself. And then we're going to do a back stitch. So basically, what we're going to do is stitch over a few stitches over the last stitch that we had to make sure that it's stable. There we go. So now you're going to pull this out. So what we have now is we've sewed together the back. Now, if you have any holes in it, all you just got to do is just sew back over it and then boom. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to open this up and we're going to put this on top of here. So then I put the belly piece on top of this, and you put the foot and you kind of line up where everything is at, and then you start sewing along the legs, but make sure you don't sew along this area on the back, because that's how we're going to flip it inside out so that it looks natural. And a way to make this easier is you can also pin it together so then they don't move everywhere. So once you've got one whole side, then you go ahead and flip to the other and you do the exact same thing. So now, once you've gotten most of the frog sewn, this is what it looks like so far. This is from the top, this is from the bottom. So what we're gonna do, once we left this little flap here, we're gonna flip them inside out. And it's a little hard to flip them inside out, especially if you don't have a lot of allowance in this this area. But once you get it worked out there, this is the back legs. This is one of the front legs. Here's the head. And here's that final arm. Now what you can do is from the fabric left over from when you're cutting, you could put that in here to fill them out, or you can fill with stuffing, or you can just leave it as is. But this is what it looks like, just kind of as is. Now, once you have either stuffed it or left it by itself, you sew along this area here, and then you have your stuffed animal frog. You also can add eyes to the front of here, and that could also help too. So now that you've learned how to make your own stuffed animal, you don't have to go out and buy it anymore. Now, the easy steps I'll recap on, which will be threading your machine, picking out the fabric, which this is just a nice, easy cotton, so it's not stretchy and it's not very hard, and cutting out the shape, which is probably not difficult, but it's not the easiest thing, and then putting it together, which is probably the most difficult step. So now that you've figured out how to make this, you can show it off to your friends, or you can just bring it to your younger siblings. So go make your own stuffed animal army.